Hi guys, welcome back to Planet Moonshine, the channel where we use home distilling techniques in a microbrewery, and with the objective of just making some nice booze for my own use, although I can sell it if I want to because I'm licensed. But anyways, moving on. Today's video is a follow-on from the video I did about making gin, and if you saw that video, if not, I'll stick a card up here. But basically, I made gin with the purpose of then making some gin infusions with fruit. And what we're going to make today is a rhubarb and ginger, a cherry, and a blackberry. And if that's got you interested, stick around and we'll see how it turns out. Okay guys, so one of the cool things about making flavoured gins is you don't have to be a distiller to do it. You could go to the shops, buy yourself some London dry gin, whatever you like, nothing too expensive, nothing too impressively flavoured, and just do what I did. After all, I use gin at 40%. That's what you could use too. It'll end up a little bit less after it's taken some flavour from the fruit. But overall, you should get the same result. So have fun. Okay, so in these jars, I've got the fruits we're going to use. They're all frozen because for some reason it's near impossible to get fresh rhubarb here in Spain. Cherries are not in season, and blackberries, well, I could get them fresh, but they're just so expensive fresh. So we're going to use frozen. Each of these jars, and I'm not being precious about the weights, it's roughly 500 grams of fruit. I literally just tipped half of a bag of a kilo into each of them and thought that'll do. Our next job is to add some sugar, and the only reason we're putting sugar in is because a lot of these fruits are going to impart a fair amount of tartness, especially the rhubarb, and we need to just counter that. So we're only going to put roughly 100 grams of sugar into each of these just to take the edge off of that, because I really don't think sweet gin's a thing. We're not looking to make a cocktail here. We're just looking to make a nice gin. But let's talk about the gin. So we made this, I guess, oh gosh, that smells good. We made this about 4 weeks ago, and I'm just going to take a sample of it now and we'll see what it tastes like. Okay, so that's a nice smelling gin. Yeah, it's right now about 40% alcohol by volume. Got a lovely warm feel. All the flavours have integrated nicely. The juniper and the coriander are quite evident in there. And yeah, that hint of citrus is there. So I think this gin's going to be great. It's not too strongly flavoured in any one direction. It's really quite balanced. And what we're going to do is going to put 100 grams of sugar into each of these jars, give it a shake up, and then we'll just literally top the jars off and then leave them for, well, probably a couple of weeks. So I'll get into that. Okay, so for the rhubarb and ginger, we need some ginger, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some fresh ginger. I'm not even going to peel it. I'm not really paying attention to how much is going in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, so it's about 8, 9 slices of ginger. That's probably plenty. We'll chuck those in as well. Love ginger. Ginger's really, really powerful flavor in anything you put it in, so don't go mad on the ginger. Okay, so it's time to get messy and start adding the gin. These jars are 2 litre jars, and all we're going to do is basically just top it off with fresh gin. So I'll probably regret not using a funnel or a jug, but here we go. Yeah, look at that, we're going to need a bit more. I knew I'd regret not using a funnel. Oh well, what a waste. So, here we are. I've done a bit of a clean up, but I still smell like a day out in a gin palace, but that's okay. What we're going to do now is all of that sugar got washed down to the bottom of the jar. Now we're just going to give it a shake up, redistribute it a little bit, and we'll keep doing this every few days until all the sugar's gone. And then after 2 weeks we should have ourselves some beautiful flavoured gin. We'll come back to you after that and we'll see how our gins have turned out. Wow, as you can see, even just in a few seconds, the cherry one started taking cherry colour straight away. I expect this one will turn a slight pink. This one's probably going to go quite dark, and this one should end up a nice purple shade. We'll see. Hey guys. Just thought I'd check in with you part way through the process for these 3. They've had about a week now. Yeah, this one, the Blackberry, has gone a very deep purple. This one, the Cherry's gone a very deep red. And this one, the Rhubarb and Ginger's taken on a nice, yeah, sort of pinkish, greenish hue. And a few days after I shot the video initially, I decided I'd make another one. I did talk about doing that. It's got a lovely green color, but it's basically a mint, cucumber and lime gin. That is the fabulous thing about flavoring gins. You can literally go wild, experiment, do your own thing. As I said before, go to the shops, buy some gin, think about what you like in a gin. What flavors do you like? Throw them in a bottle, see what happens. Yeah, so I'll come back to you in another week when these 3 will be ready and this one will be almost ready, and we'll have a tasting session. Hey guys, it's been 2 weeks more or less since these gins, since these gins got steeped in fruit. And what we're doing now is we're just taking these and we're going to strain them off the fruit. Easy as that. And this one, of course, is the Blackberry. Now, what we're going to do with all this lovely fruit, well, I'm going to take it home and make some fruit crumbles with it, I guess. That'd be nice. I think I'm just going to let that drain for a bit. Anyway, I'm going to get on with these, and then I'm going to filter them through a coffee filter, make sure we're all absolutely, you know, as cleaned up as we can be, and then we'll do some tasting. Okay guys, so here we are, everything's been filtered. Normally that takes a long time to do, but I found a plastic, more like a super fine sieve, but it was billed as a reusable coffee filter, and it filtered these really fast. Doubtless they could be a little clearer if they were put through a true coffee filter, but you know what, this is good enough for me. So it's sampling time. Now I've got a little bit neat in each of these 4 glasses, and I've also got some regular Schweppes tonic to make a G&T like thing with, but we're going to start with the rhubarb and ginger. Okay, on the nose, I can smell the gin more than I can smell the rhubarb and ginger. But in the mouth, that rhubarb is there. There's a tingle on your tongue from the ginger, but it's not overpowering it. It really is just adding a little value to it. So the 100 grams of sugar in there turned out to be just perfect. It's just the right balance of sweetness for me. But now let's try this one. Now this is the cucumber, lime and mint, and it has only marinated for about a week, and I was wondering if that was going to be long enough. So let's see if a week is enough for that one. Certainly you get the cucumber and mint on the nose immediately. Wow, in the flavour, that's so refreshing. Each of the individual flavours is right there at the front. The cucumber, perhaps a little bit subdued, but they're enough to give you flavour. I guess the mint and lime are the predominant flavours, but the cucumber is balancing it, and the cucumber is really strong on the nose. So, neat. I'm loving both of those so far. Let's move on to the blackberry, and the colour of this stuff is just incredible. In the big jar it looks almost black, but in here it's a beautiful reddish purple. On the nose you can mostly get a hit of gin, but you can smell the blackberry. In the mouth it's a very mellow blackberry flavour. And again, dead happy with that. And this was the surprise of the bunch. I wasn't really expecting to make a cherry, but then I saw these frozen pitted cherries for sale, and I thought, well, yeah, in for a penny, in for a pound or kilo. Yeah, you can smell the cherries in the gin. And that's lovely. The cherry flavour is balanced very nicely with the gin. It's not overpowering, but you know it's there. So I'm really, really, really pleased with how these have come out. Now, I'm just going to go off camera for a sec, refill these glasses, add some tonic, and we'll see how that works out. All right, so refilled, a little bit of tonic in each glass. Not so much to completely drown the flavour of the gin, but always there's more gin than tonic in the glass, right? Let's start again with the rhubarb and ginger. Oh, smells like a good G&T. Yeah. Yeah, loving that. I could drink that all night long. I suspect my good lady wife could too, so I might get a few brownie points for this. you know what? For preference, I think I'd probably drink it neat. It's so good. I'm going to be smashed by the end of this little tasting session. So how does it work out? Cucumber, mint, and lime. Again, the aromas are there. The gin's lifted the lime smell a little bit. It smells amazing. That's lovely. I could happily drink that one with the tonic. In fact, I like it both ways. Let's try a blackberry. Very refreshing. The blackberry is quite a subdued flavour in this, but it's there. You know it's there, and you know it's blackberry. It's really quite delicious. The colour is stunningly beautiful. I mean, just look at that. Let's move on to the cherry and see what the addition of tonic has done for that. So on the nose, it smells like a regular G&T. But in the mouth, that cherry really comes through. I'm so pleased, so pleased with all of these. They are fantastic. I totally urge you to get making some of these things. They are awesome. Like I said, you don't even have to be a distiller to do it, but if you do, then you've got control over the gin as well. But just have some fun, experiment. Yeah, totally do it. So where are we going from here, guys? That's more or less the end of this video. If you liked what we've done, please, you know, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, all those things. Excuse me. So what are we doing next? Well, if you do subscribe and ring the bell, you'll get told about my next video, which is going to be a lazy man's bourbon. Yeah, what's that all about? What we're going to do is we're going to make an all-grain bourbon that's 80% corn and 10% rye and 10% of barley, half of which is going to be heavily smoked with a German malt called Rauch malt, which means smoked malt. And the other half will be a regular brewer's malt. I might use a specialty malt like a chocolate malt. But that's going to be the recipe for next time. I call it the lazy man's bourbon because it's all grain, but no mash. And if you've ever mashed corn, you will know what I am talking about. It is a royal pain in the butt to do something with. But we're going to skip all of that and still make a great bourbon. So if that floats your boat, subscribe, ring the bell. See you on the next one. Bye, guys.